Intuition is a dangerous thing. Humankind has long sought answers, the truth about the stars, ourselves, and all of our reality. Reality defies understanding. Humankind takes shortcuts, acceptance of truths unproven, but reality defies understanding. Like a predator evolved to avoid the notice of its prey, the greatest dangers to humanity lurk above and outside of our perception. Reality defies understanding. Intuition is a dangerous thing. Last time, you all had a bit of a weird situation where you weren't sure what was real and what wasn't. So, did any of that happen last time? We don't know. But you received a phone call from Hematite. Or a series of texts, I guess I should say. I don't think a phone call ever actually... Or a phone call did occur at one point, I believe, but mostly a series of texts. Yes. Mostly a series of texts back and forth. And the Hematite was delivering hazmat suits to H-Cell, but not the H-Cell that any of you are in. And on your side, you were being delivered hazmat suits by someone who is very much not Hematite. And on Hematite's end of things, Hunter was there, but Hunter was with you. None of this was making any sense. However, you did now have hazmat suits, so you went to the Benthic Corporation, sort of thinking that was a weird situation, but, otherwise just kind of deciding to deal with that later. You have a new team member, you still have a mission, you can't delay that mission for whatever this is. And unfortunately, you got kind of stonewalled at Benthic Corporation. They did not let you in, they asked for you to get a warrant, they were very slow with all their processing, and they also seem to have fairly tight security for such a small lab out in the middle of nowhere. You even saw like a sniper on the roof watching you as you're at the gate. They clearly are not taking even a single chance of anyone getting in there. And they are clearly willing to do great violence to see that happen. So you backed off, you decided to stake out, or set a police officer staking out the house of Lara Gent, one of the lead researchers at the lab. And you'll come back to that later, but at least you saw that through the windows of her house, it doesn't look nearly as torn up as Dr. McCaslin's house did. The other researcher who has died recently after you found him very thoroughly infected. He was the one who vomited on Deputy Jacobs and started this whole investigation in the first place. But you'll find out more about Largent later, hopefully. In the meantime, you decided instead of waiting around yourselves, you would head to Eden Pit, the research site near the labs. Not so much a place where research happens as much as a lot of sample collecting happens. And so it's locked up a little bit less tightly than the surrounding areas. It is just a wooden fence and like a metal gate down like a dirt road to this very weird looking pond. It's more of a pit, really, as I described it. It's the trees and all of the flora around sort of give way to just bare stone, which starts to transition into this very dark, almost pure black stone that doesn't look earthly. And this all slopes very sharply down into a pool of very thick water that doesn't... You can't see very deep into it. It's very cloudy and murky and bright red, like blood. There's a sort of small metal building on the top of this cliff and a ladder going down to a small building that looks like half submerged in the water below. And you all approach this building, and upon not being able to break in easily, High Tide experienced a vision in which Hematite knew the code and told him the code. So he walked up to the door, punched in the numbers, the green light clicked on, the door swung open, and that is where we left off. So, I'll describe the scene of this little shack, I've been calling it, but again, it's only shack sized. It is like a very high tech looking place. It appears very well sealed. It's all just like industrial metal and stuff. It looks very secure, not like you could break into any part of it really. And even though they do have ventilation, all the ventilation shafts are like a ton of small bits of ventilation rather than one large thing you could potentially crawl through. So you're glad you got the door open. Inside, you see a trapdoor that leads to the ladder below, you assume, that is also locked up at the moment. You actually see just a big lever on the back of it that you could pull to unlock it from the inside. And there's some scattered supplies around up here. There's a few different lockers and things. You see a small table with a chair pulled up next to it, like somebody could sit here and take a break or eat something or whatever. But it doesn't have a ton of furnishings in here. There are what appear to be a few different bottles of fluid that has been collected from the lake. I say bottles, more like vials, I guess is probably more accurate. Vials that are collected fluid from the lake and things like that around, but not a ton of stuff here. What do you guys do? And also, how do you react to High Tide simply walking up and knowing the code to the door?
Hunter's gonna whip out his gun. Better start talking, High Tide. What's going on?
Hello reaches over and just kind of puts his hand on the gun, just kind of pushes down on it a little bit. Hang on.
I am hanging on. I didn't pull the trigger, did I?
We don't gotta.
I'm giving him a
It's okay to be
chance.
ready. Come on.
Hestia's just like backing up, hands raised into a corner.
Well, I mean,
Ted, what's going on, buddy?
I mean, it could have been in the book. I don't know.
What do you mean it could have been in the book? You're the one who put the code in. You saying you read it somewhere and it just came to mind? I haven't seen you do that.
No,
I don't know.
Humanite told me.
When?
Just now. Didn't you hear her?
Nope.
No. High Tide, you're taking her death real hard, buddy. Are you sure?
I don't know. You're the one that talked to her on the phone.
Did you talk to her on the phone just now?
No, that was in the car. I didn't realize we were talking about this in front of Hestia so openly. All right, so Hestia, welcome.
I don't want to know what's going on, but my 2 cents is wherever you got the information, it was right.
All right, so in the spirit of not telling you too much, but still keeping you in the loop. Some weird shit's been happening to us. And we got a phone call this morning from a friend of ours who we thought was dead. And very good reason to believe is.
And this is the hematite person who was talking in High Tide's head a minute ago?
Evidently.
Okay. Well,
High Tide, who else was there in your memory?
It was just a voice. It wasn't a memory. Correct. It was just a voice. I just heard a voice, right? Jordan?
Yeah, it was basically like you had a like a burst of deja vu, like you had been standing in front of this door before. You had a memory of standing in front of this door before, and you heard Hematite call out behind you, like a reminder, like, "Oh yeah." It's like you paused in front of the door trying to remember the code, and Hematite just called it out, seeing that you were pausing or hesitating. Right. So, Yeah, if that makes sense, right? So like there was some visuals associated, but you were like face to the door, just opening it, and didn't really like look back or anything. But
Okay. I'm still gonna assume that it was just the voice, because
yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna trust you for now, but I don't trust whatever's talking to us. Something's still trying to get at us. I'm not convinced. It's hematite.
And
But
that's
I'll lower the gun. We'll deal with it as it comes.
yeah. Seems like it's a different one also. But let's see what's inside there. Oh, this is happening now. He just grumbles as he trudges inside.
I think Hestia will follow, but kind of, yeah, hesitantly. Very weirded out by all this.
understood. Is everyone just heading inside then?
Yes, but I'm keeping my gun out.
Understood. Okay, so yeah, inside there's a bunch of those lockers around. And yeah, what do you want to take a look at? I mean, you're inside the building. Nothing happens when you step in. There's some, like some of the lockers have like glass cases above them that have those vials in them that haven't been transported away yet, stuff like that.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that bit of description?
Sure. So inside there's like a small table and a single chair, several different lockers around like one wall of the building. It's not a very large building, it's just not a lot in here. And there are some, like on top of some of the lockers, there are like glass cases with a bunch of vials in them full of what appears to be fluid from the lake below, like samples that have been taken that haven't been transported yet or whatever.
I want to peek through if there's any openings in the lockers, like any events. I want to see if any of them may have been booby trapped. I like probably not going to see, but that's the first thing the hunter thinks about.
Okay. I think a search roll would
So,
make sense
okay.
for checking for that.
Weird.
The roll was a 10.
Thank you,
Success.
10.
Yeah, I'll try to remember to call stuff out.
It's okay. No, I just navigated away from it because I was trying to I was trying to troubleshoot something. Okay, so 10, thank you. So a success. Yeah, you check through the edges of the locker and stuff. You don't see anything like any wires that cross over, would get pulled by the door opening or anything like that. Nothing jumps out at you as like suspicious. They just look like.
Okay, I think all this is safe. I'm gonna try to pry them open if they're locked. Otherwise, I'll just open them up and search the contents.
Okay. They do appear to be locked. Each one has a padlock on it. So if you have a tool to break them open, you could do that, or you could just try to make a roll for it. But it would be.
I just want to grab the padlock and like rip the furnishings off of the locker.
Okay. That sounds like a strength roll. I'm gonna put you at a minus 20% for it.
That's a 29. My target would have been 55, so that's a success still.
Okay. So it does appear that these lockers were, they are locked, but they weren't like as strong as they could have been. I mean, you're locked inside a much stronger building at the moment, so I guess they may have assumed that anyone who got in here has reason to be in here, and people aren't going to go snooping through each other's stuff. But so you managed to pry the lock off of the locker, just sort of pulling that part of the locker apart and pull the door open. And inside, you see an underwater hazmat suit.
Oh, this looks like it'll be useful. Look at this. The hazmat suit, but like, looks like you could use it underwater.
Oh yeah, we knew about that actually. You could use it, but it doesn't seem advisable.
Why not?
Well, just don't go into the water with it because that's where Doc McCaslin went when he got infected.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Is there anything else of interest in there?
I will say, of interest, you do notice that the particular hazmat suit in this locker you've opened appears to not have been used in a while. It's gathered a little bit of dust, and there is a very large, very obvious puncture in like the thigh. Like just a whole section of this thing has been torn out. It looks like a puncture maybe about 4 inches across. That's very jagged, not like a knife ripped it open, but like something like stabbed through that was very large. And there's a whole lot of like bloodstains and stuff.
You know, funny you mention he was infected while he was down there. Do you think this might be why? Kind of seems like it's kind of looks like it's not so great at being an underwater hazmat suit anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that's much of a hazmat suit at all anymore. That's definitely what happened to him. There's got to be something down there then, like a main growth.
Yeah. Think if we pour enough bleach in there, it'll kill whatever is in there.
No, I think it would enjoy that very much. We would need to burn it, or I don't know, water, maybe water and baking soda.
Yeah, maybe that'll work. Need a lot of baking soda though.
Baking soda or baking powder? The baking soda.
Does it matter? I can never remember which is which.
Neither can I. That's why I'm having this problem.
If only the doctor was still here.
It's baking soda.
Just having a
guys.
crisis.
Both of it'll be fine.
It's baking soda.
Oh yeah, there
Alright.
we go, baking soda.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
what's the plan? I'm new here. I'm I think I'm just here to patch you up and provide medical input.
All right. Well, if you've been fully briefed on the situation, if you've been fully activated, how much? Okay.
I'm pretty sure you guys gave Hesty a pretty solid briefing last time.
That's
like
what I
everything
remember.
except for the weird time stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I was more
Okay.
like asking like, hey, what's next? Because I am not in a leadership role. I'm not going to be the one to poke things.
Okay. Well, what's next? We finish raiding this shack, and then tomorrow we have a warrant to go back to. What's the name of the company?
Benthic, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we'll get our warrant so we can actually get inside Benthic tomorrow.
And then everything we want to take a look at will probably be gone because we gave them enough time.
Or we could try and break in tonight. That's an option. We have enough guns.
Yeah, I really think we should do that one. Although even still, they probably already got rid of a lot. if not
I'm
everything.
also not very stealthy, so
Or
maybe
we
we
could
could
go into
try
the special goo.
special goo.
The blood water.
I don't want to go in there.
Weird stuff.
We don't even have gear for that.
We all have hazmat suits. Are they not airtight?
They're not underwater rated. I think that was the
Yeah, there
main
are
point about this one.
special underwater hazmat suits that kind of double as like scuba gear and stuff and are rated for higher pressure and all that.
I'm gonna start ripping open other lockers to see if we can find some functioning underwater hazmat suits.
Okay.
If there's like a screwdriver or something around here that might help me pry things open easier.
I think you already succeeded on one, so I'll say you can just be the maniac running around opening lockers.
And I'm
You've
gonna
already-
be real honest. Most padlocks, you just look at them the wrong way and they'll open
Yep.
anyway. So
You got 'em, so you now have a padlock in your hand. You can hit the other padlocks with the padlock, and you'll just get through them. So yeah, you go one by one with a very slightly unnatural strength that Hunter's displaying here, ripping open these lockers. And inside the next one, there's another tall locker that does have another hazmat suit. This one does not have an obvious gaping hole in it like the other one did. And then a lot of the other smaller lockers have supplies to collect samples and supplies to that aren't for being underwater, but like gloves and protective eyewear and things of that nature, just like general lab supplies just for dealing with the samples before they're transported away. There are some empty cases for safely transporting vials without them jostling around, things like that, like boxes that have slots for the vials to go in and so on. But that's pretty much everything you find in here. You also do find in one of the lockers, mixed in with the supplies, a glass, like a drinking glass, that's just kind of in the locker. Very faintly stained red.
Well, clearly somebody didn't want to share their Kool-Aid cup with other people.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know about all this chemistry kit stuff, but
Did you say it was one suit we found in there?
Yeah, you found one intact underwater hazmat suit.
there's one here that could be used. Probably.
There-
I don't see any holes in it at least.
Are there any
Well-
notes or computers or anything?
Not in here, no.
Okay.
It appears that though much like the actual lake itself is not super locked down, it's not under heavy security like the lab is. This place, they've decided this is not a secure enough location to keep any of that kind of stuff. So that's all moved out of here, but just some of the water has been left behind in vials and things, since you could just get that yourself anyways.
And you said there had been recent truck marks.
Yeah, pretty recent.
So, not much left to find here then, huh?
Yeah, I don't think so. Because the question is what we do next.
Is it worth
Well-
sending the cup back to the lab?
I mean, forget the search warrant. How long is it gonna take for them to get anything useful back from the lab?
I don't know, but it seems like more information would be better if this is some sort of easily spreadable thing.
It's definitely easily spreadable. So yeah, I mean, we can try and send this in. See what we get. Maybe we get something by the morning. We can arrange that on our way back to the hotel.
Yeah, it's just a thought. I'm new here. If you guys don't think it's a good idea, but we can't go get the red liquid, and that's the if we have that in the samples, we could maybe figure something out from there.
It's worth doing.
I am remembering correctly that there were like actual samples with pit water in it.
Yes, yeah, there are a few vials.
Okay, because I was thinking like if we nick one of those and the cup, then maybe we can find patient zero even, assuming that our one spit up guy was like we don't know for sure that he was the first. He was just the one that caused it to become our incident.
It could be. It could be that it was the other doctor who went down, got infected, and then infected him. And now she's being kept in the lab.
And the notebook that we had, it didn't have much about the expeditions, correct?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, it had some notes about like dates and things, but it wasn't like lab notes. It was just like it was like his daily schedules and things mostly. Like, oh yeah, on today we're going into the pit, right? That kind of thing, like those kinds. So marked like dates and stuff, but other than that, no.
And it was that, and there was also a photo of him and the other doctor together or something, right?
Yeah, there was a photo of McCaslin in the very same style of underwater hazmat suit that you see in this locker.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they could have gone down together, and she got infected, and also infected him or something, and it's a bad time for everybody at the end of the day.
And I mean, who knows? Maybe the lab is trying to stop people from getting in there because everyone's infected.
That could be very possible. But then wouldn't they want help cleaning it up?
I mean, they would probably want to hide it first.
If they're a company, it would be a pretty significant PR and or legal nightmare. So if they can make it so that it doesn't look as obvious that they're liable, that might be good.
Maybe you're right, actually, by the way, but maybe they're hoping that whatever is going on in there, that if the other doctor is in there and infected and, going insane or whatever, they think that just they can just wait it out, maybe, and that it'll just be fine. But what they don't know is that these infected start turning into weird things if left alone too long, and they're only going to spread. Maybe we can go back and try to talk to them again one more time before we go back. Probably be pissed off to see us because we don't have a warrant yet.
Yeah, it's
But
just a waste of time. They're never going to talk to us again. Unless we have the warrant. There's no reason for them to let us in.
yeah, and they probably wouldn't even really want to talk at the gates either. 'Cause they were pretty recalcitrant earlier today.
What's that mean?
It means they didn't want to talk.
Well, I could have told you that.
That's fair. Let's just go back to the hotel. Let's get some sleep, get some food, and
So, do I have any other recollections or memories with hematite now that we're in here and inspecting stuff, or was it just at the door?
Are you asking like passively? Does it happen to you? Does it happen to you? Yeah, I guess that does make sense. Or is High Tide like actively thinking about that and trying to remember?
Probably active, well, probably trying to think about it and
Okay.
remember.
Give me an intelligence roll then.
Intelligence. I'm good at intelligence.
Wow, that is a very good success. Okay. You try to think about this place very strongly. And you close your eyes, like just trying to think for a second, and nothing really comes up. When you open your eyes, you see your fellow agents in here. It's still Hestia and Hallow and Hunter. But the entire inside of this room and your fellow agents are all coated with a thick layer of the fungus. The same exact, like, purplish, like, weirdly waving in the non existent wind fungus that almost looks more like an underwater bit of flora than like something that's just existing in the air here. And it's coating everything. It's outside. It's on you. You look down at your hands. You are thick in the fungus right now. I need you to roll me a sanity check. That is 10 points of sanity from the unnatural.
What?
Oof. Oof.
He's having a psychotic break.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that trigger my fugues?
That triggers a few things, I believe. It triggers pretty much any of your breaking point things. It also triggers a fight, flight, or freeze response. One of those three. You can project onto a bond, but even with that, that's, I believe, a D4, and that won't get you down below a 5 no matter what. So a bunch of stuff triggers. I will also say, though, you don't just see this stuff and then go crazy. You see this stuff and then you see more. You did succeed on the intelligence roll. I'm not going to take that from you. But you see this fungus and you start to panic, and like as you panic, more information starts flooding into your mind. You remember being in this room before, and you see Hematite there, and you see Hunter there, and you see Hallow there. The full team back together, Hestia not here. The four of you are doing pretty much what you're doing now, just investigating around, looking in lockers. In fact, Hunter, in this memory, was doing the exact same thing, tearing open the lockers, pulling out the suits and things. It all played out in a very similar way. And then you remember climbing down the ladder and investigating in the water down there. And then things start to get fuzzy as you approach the water. Like you're looking at TV static in your brain. And you lose some time in the memory. Like you don't remember exactly what happens next, but then you do remember being underwater. And you remember sinking deep into the murky red water. A pain in your chest. Your oxygen rapidly failing you as water rushes into the suit, and you just descending deeper into the water. And then you snap back to reality, having experienced death in this memory. What is happening with High Tide? What is your fight, flight, freeze? What triggers from your traumas? What's going on?
So
here?
what triggers more? Is it my fight, flight, or my catatonic state, or
well, the fugue, you just do things and you don't remember, right? So you're just gonna lose some time. You wouldn't go like catatonic. You just wouldn't remember what you do, like sleepwalking kind of deal. So you
I feel like at
go
this
into
point,
sleepwalking and fight or flight or whatever.
I feel like at this point it makes the most sense that I would just like reach into my back pocket and take out my flashlight and just kind of sit there in the corner of the room staring and just like clicking it on and off.
Okay, so a freeze response. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so you all see High Tide just walk over the corner and start doing that.
He okay?
Whoa, what's going on?
That's new. He's.
I'm gonna walk
High
over,
Tide.
grab his shoulders, and shake him.
What's going on? What's going on?
Am I able to do anything when I'm frozen? Like, can I talk, or am I just out of it for a couple minutes?
Um, yeah, you are shut down essentially, but barely conscious or unconscious, your choice. So you could faint here, or yes, I think if you're describing yourself as conscious and just doing this over and over again, yeah, you are just not responsive at the moment. You just walked over the corner and stopped verbalizing anything and just started.
I kind of feel like my eyes flickering and maybe muttering something under my voice, under my breath. Is that possible? Just
Yeah,
like
I
the
think
fungus, the fungus, the fungus, the fungus.
Sure.
So that's what I'm doing.
There's no fungus. Something's got you, but it's not. There's no fungus here. We're all fine. Right? I think he's having some kind of like PTSD thing, but I don't know what would have caused it.
I mean, if you
I
had
guess
a.
Can I look around and see if I can find any fungus?
Sure. Give me a search roll. You start looking around, but I mean, there's not a lot of surfaces to check in here. You don't find anything that looks like fungus to you.
Well, it seems like you guys were talking about fungus earlier, and I couldn't see anything. So,
I don't see anything now either, but I think he did. And it. So having weird flashes of seeing fungus isn't actually abnormal for High Tide.
Yeah, but it's not usually this bad.
Yeah, he hasn't done this before. Our first opera, we all kind of had some weird mental break things going on, and High Tide saw fungus. It's haunted him ever since.
okay.
We've
Hmm.
also seen that fungus in reality, all of us recently, which is troubling.
Yeah, but it's not here. Like, if it
Yeah.
was here, we'd all see it.
It would be it would make itself pretty obvious most of the time.
Well, if he seems to, I'm just spitballing here, but if he seems to be more sensitive to whatever this contaminant is it possible that like he's a sort of canary in the coal mine?
Are we still in the
That's-
shack, or are we out? Yeah.
I think we're still in the shack because he's in the corner.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, with all this chemical stuff everywhere, maybe like he smelled something that reminded him of the fungus. So let's just give him some fresh air.
I'm
gonna try
your
leading him
judgment on
outside.
this. I don't know this person.
You have a good point about him being like, if he saw fungus, it's a good sign to not be here, because the other times that he's had flashes of fungus, there has been fungus nearby. So yeah, let's get him out of here and maybe start heading back to the cars.
We're still in hazmat suits, right?
Yes. You did put those on before
And
walking down the trail.
he saw fungus on the hazmat suit or in the hazmat suit?
It was a brief flash, and he didn't really describe it to you, but
Okay.
I'm picturing it was more like everybody's silhouette just kind of turned to fungus, like maybe slightly thicker. The whole world was just covered in fungus, basically. So it wasn't like it was inside your suits or anything. It was just like there was no surface around high tide that was not fungus.
And everyone on the original team had it as well. And
Were they all in hazmat suits also? Or did they walk
Yes,
in just
it
like,
would be exactly as you all are, but just hematite.
Got it.
I would help get I would help carry the person out.
Yeah.
I am
And I'll assist
blanking
on the other side. So we
was
can,
it
like,
Hunter
get one arm each.
who was having a episode, or High Tide?
High tide.
High Tide. Okay.
Hunter's taking this pretty well.
Well, this is the sort of weird that Hunter's used to, I think.
Yeah, I used to have a family member who sometimes got into. You kind of feel like this. Usually it'd pass after a while, but fresh air, I think, is for the best.
Okay. I will. Can I say my medical kit has like specimen bags in it?
Potentially. I guess I don't see why not.
Like baggies,
I mean,
vials, things that
It's just something
say
to.
biohazard on them.
Yeah, something like that makes sense.
Yeah, so I would put the glass in one of those and seal it, and then same with one of the sample vials. And then I would double bag each of them just to be on the safe side. And then put them back in my bag.
Alrighty.
I'm just assuming since I'm here as medical personnel, I would have like a hospital grade first aid kit
Yeah,
in
I
like
think
a
so.
doctor's bag kind of deal.
Cool. So yeah,
I think
kind of
yeah, I think
half
we'd ask about
carry
that.
high tide out.
Yeah, you guys could get high tide doesn't like resist, I don't think. He just doesn't have much will in him right now. So you can get him out.
just mumbling about the fungus the entire way.
High tide's status does not change after being brought outdoors.
Yeah, just gonna like sit him down.
Like, yeah, we'll all feel better soon. I'm sure.
Let's get away from this pit. If he doesn't get better by the time we get back to the cars, we'll see about, trying to calm him down once we get back to the hotel room.
We'll just bring him back then.
All right. You start walking back to the car then, it sounds like?
Yes.
All right. You're able to bring people back up to the vehicles. And are you just headed straight back to the hotel to call it for the night? Or were you going to try to break in? That was floated, but then
Right.
got distracted.
Yeah. Well, definitely not with high tide the way that he is.
Yeah, we do kind of need everybody kind of
Functional.
yes. I would think at least.
All right then. So if not breaking in, then it sounds like back to the hotel for another night's rest.
Yep.
Rest in air quotes.
Indeed. I think the hotel staff is used to seeing you guys arrive in hazmat suits at this point. So we'll hand wave that. We don't need to go into those details. We could just assume there's there's a quick scene where like You four are waiting outside an elevator while another poor hospital resident is getting off the elevator and just sees you all in suits entering.
Hospital or
They-
hotel?
Hotel. Sorry,
We're always in a hospital. What are you
you're always in a
talking about?
hospital. Yeah, exactly. Hospital,
It's been a
hotel.
hospital the whole time.
Exactly. It's it is what it is.
Just
You know
one
what it
really
is. I
big
know what it
hospital.
is.
Hunter gave up commenting on it long ago.
Yeah, we're all on the same page about what that building is, right? It's of course. Starts with an H, and it's good from there.
We all
So-
live in a collective asylum.
Starts with
Yeah.
H, ends with L. However
Mhm.
many
Exactly.
letters are in the middle doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So, other than that, specifically, I'll say just a night passes pretty uneventfully. We don't need to go into those details unless you guys want to have a scene roleplayed at the hotel or anything like that.
Well, I mean,
Checking
when
on
do I
some
become
disorders.
uncatatonic? Is it the next morning?
That would probably make some sense. It was already pretty late by that point, so it is.
It was like early evening when we got to the pit.
Yeah, and it is like an indeterminate amount of time. It's an amount of time that I choose, so I'm going to choose yes. It lasts until you go to sleep. So yeah, hopefully you'll wake up the next day feeling a little better. But 10 sanity loss is a lot, so you're gonna be out of it for the rest of the day no matter what, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Those of you who had treatment before, if you lost power, you recover 1 point of power. You do not recover a point of con yet.
Ooh.
1 point of con per week.
No, I didn't lose power from that. That was from the adapt.
Isn't
Right.
it 1d4 willpower?
Sorry, power
Oh.
the stat. If you lost power to the one of the things the virus could damage is, or the fungus I should say, is damaging your actual power stat temporarily, much like the treatment would damage your constitution temporarily.
I think Hunter took some.
Yeah, I just added that point back. I still have 3 more points to go.
Jeez.
And yeah, everybody can add 1 hit point if you are still down any.
Hunter forgot to pay his power bill.
Oh no. Then yes, 1d4 points of power. And High Tide, I don't know if you normally have a sleeping disorder, but classic 1 point of power. When you have a bout of temporary insanity like you did today, you do have to roll for sleep regardless, so a sanity test. And anyone who does have a sleeping disorder, please also roll for that and tell me if you want to use sleeping meds or whatever ahead of time.
Hello, Kong's out, just totally okay for the night. He's unbothered by the events of the day.
Oh no!
Oh, no!
no.
There goes
None of us
minus
are-
40 to all of my rolls tomorrow.
None of us are getting out of this hotel alive.
So
no.
Hunter and High Tide minus 20% all of your rolls tomorrow. Both
Thank you.
very sick.
If you roll
just
any
unable to
sanity
sleep.
tests, you're just gonna fall over.
Hate to be that person. Critical failure doesn't make it worse.
I don't think so. It just makes it the worst possible. And normally on a failed roll for sleep, it is either 10% or 20% up to my discretion. On a critical failure, I'm just going to make it 20%. I was going to make it 20% either way, but so that it just works out. It's kind of like a critical fail on a sanity check to take sanity damage. It doesn't double it or anything. It just gives you the max on the die roll. Same situation here. Not that there's a die roll involved, but yeah, just minus 20%. It doesn't go up to 40 or anything like that. It's not that punishing. It's punishing, but it's not that punishing. So yeah, just the 20%. You can take caffeine and whatever.
It kind of makes sense. Because we had like 2 rooms with 2 beds in it, and if Hunter was sleeping in the same room with High Tide, he was probably waking up the entire night just like screaming and saying stuff.
Yep. I think that's a great way to explain it. Okay.
Poor guys. They've not had a good time in that room.
They've not. So I think High Tide, you wake up screaming a lot just about the fungus and stuff. But Hunter, I'm going to describe something slightly different for you here too. You have a dream, and perhaps you have dreamed or you haven't dreamed in a while. I don't know how Hunter's been doing with regards to all of that, but you have a familiar dream, a vivid dream, a dream that has come to you as a vision before of just running through a dark, foggy forest. Shotgun in your hands, trusty shotgun. This time, there are more people running with you. You're all dodging between trees. You hear this rumbling behind you, something massive toppling trees and tearing up the earth as it chases you. A deep growling sound that simultaneously sounds like one sound and many sounds, as if a bunch of different mouths were all growling in exact unison, but were, in slightly different pitches, slightly different voices, whatever, but they are exactly synced together, all coming from the same location behind you. A terrifying sound. And you're running, and you just get a very brief glimpse to your left and right as you're running, and you see Agent Hestia running with you. Not been in your dream before, but is there with you now. You see a couple other agents who you don't recognize, but we, the audience, recognize as special agents that were with Hunter before when Hematite met them in another world. You're just seeing people with you running. This is more detailed than you've seen before. All of them are decked out in combat equipment, carrying weapons. Even Hestia, who is normally is carrying weapons and rushing through this crazy terrain. And then you wake up because High Tide is screaming.
I am also screaming.
You scream back and forth, alternating. Scream patty cake.
Which one of us remembers where we are first?
It's a hospital.
As a note, I feel like Hestia habitually sleeps with earplugs. No, she's a nurse. She can sleep anywhere. Never mind.
There you go.
She's used to taking 20 minutes in a closet in a hospital.
I think Hal's just used to hearing him scream.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, those two are screaming tonight? That's normal.
Yeah, this is how it happens. But regardless of all that, you all wake up the next morning, or, wake up from whatever scraps of sleep you did salvage, if you salvaged any at all, and it is a new day. Where to now?
Now I think we check in with Grace to see because also, if we didn't say it before, I'm sure we all meant to, but we were going to drop off those samples before going to sleep. But if we check in on the warrant and if she has any info on the samples.
Yeah, I think we can just maybe you dropped it off with the cleanup crew that was out at the McCaslin house or something like that. Just while you were out and about. Okay, so you call in with Grace. Agent, progress report.
Good morning, ma'am. Getting ready to head over to the Benthic Corporation if you've got that warrant ready for us. We do dropped
indeed.
off a couple of... Great, thank you so much. We also dropped off some samples with the cleanup crew last night. was wondering if you had heard anything on those yet.
No conclusive results at the moment, but they are all obviously extremely contaminated with heavy metals. Whole cocktail of heavy metals.
Is that call on speaker?
Yes.
Okay, so Grace would speak up, including the sample from the cup?
Yes, the residue in the cup was almost exactly the same makeup as the liquid in the vials.
Understood. Was there any human DNA on the cup?
Not that we were able to locate, no. We're still in analysis, but at the moment, no.
That would be useful if we could confirm a specific patient 0.
You're thinking that maybe one of them drank it on a dare or something?
Either that, or that might be the first person to have symptoms who had access to the mineral-rich liquid.
Maybe.
It
Hopefully we'll
also
learn
might
more.
be someone we don't currently have on our radar, in which case there's another person to track down.
It's a fair point. Well, hopefully we'll find out more at Benthic, and hopefully they actually let us in. We might need to have a team ready in case of a need to respond. One of our working theories, ma'am, is that both of the doctors went down into that pit together. We found a second suit at uh, the site. Now, one of them was punctured and covered in blood. So maybe one of them went down, infected the other, and then the other one was holed up. That would be which doctor is the other one? I wrote her down, or just wrote her name down again. Dr. Gent. I think maybe Dr. Gent is the patient 0, and she's holed up in the lab doing something. Maybe the guards are just trying to pretend that nothing's going on. But worst case scenario, we need to burn that building down.
Understood. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but if that's the only way, we can try to cover it up somehow.
They're a secluded research lab. Maybe they had a gas leak.
Chemical fire of some kind, yes, gas leak. There are many ways to explain it.
Chemical fire for sure, given all the heavy metals going around. Yes, we can. We'll let you know if we have to cover it up that way.
Understood.
And hang up the phone.
Click.
All right, team. We're probably going to want to have weapons ready just in case. Hunter, that doesn't mean have it out.
I know, you don't have to tell me. I say, putting away my weapon.
But also,
Act like I
that
always
doesn't.
have my gun out.
Well, but also make sure that you have one nearby. If we have to get out of the car, make sure it's in the trunk, within arm's reach. And if we have a rifle, be ready to maybe have to take out someone at long range. So, Hunter, you're good with a rifle, probably, yeah?
Yeah, I'm a good shot.
All right.
A little tired, but
You're our
I'm a good
VIP
shot.
then, just in case, because their guy on the roof is going to be our biggest danger.
Not for long.
All right. Hestia, sorry to pull you into that if it comes to it, but I hope you're able to defend yourself somehow. Or at least try and stay out of the line of fire.
Hold on, I completely spaced out.
Long story short, we were briefing on we might have to go weapons hot when we were talking to the guards and asking Hestia if she has any way to defend herself or just otherwise try to stay out of the line of fire.
I mean, I will definitely try and stay out of the line of fire. I can prepare some tranquilizer for in case they get too close.
I love the non-lethal idea. If you're comfortable with injecting them or giving it into someone who can.
I can do injections. Yeah, I am not trained with weapons. I did not have time for that outside of med school.
All right.
Fix the results of weapons, not use them.
Yeah.
I thought the green would never use weapons.
No.
We would
Only
never
just
have
use
lots
fire.
of guns.
Yeah. All right. So, sounds like you've got a bit of a plan here. Are you all trying to pack into one vehicle and drive over? Are you taking a couple like last time?
And then we should do a couple.
I am
Yeah,
absolutely
that's smart.
taking my car in case I have to run into the security guard.
Okay. We got High Tide in his car, Hunter in his truck again. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah.
All right, who's with who?
I'll go with Hunter.
All right.
Hestia will go with High Tide in case he has another break.
All right. So you guys drive across town over there, and as you're on the way, you get a call from the sheriff's office once again. It's the undersheriff calling with a status update for you. Morning, agents. We set up that stakeout for you last night. She never returned home, it seems. My boys were out there all night. Just no car approached ever. No lights came on. That was it. They're headed home for some rest. But no idea where she is, but she certainly isn't home.
Thanks for the update, Undersheriff. We're on our way to Benthic now to... we got our warrant, so we're going to go and see if we can talk to her there.
All right. Best of luck.
Yep. Thank you. You as well.
Right. And we'll see you get that news as you're approaching the facility. You're driving through those woods once again, up that road alongside the fence. And eventually you arrive outside that large, like chain-linked barbed wired fence that's a pretty large distance away from the laboratory building itself, the guard booth out front, all of that, the small parking lot, etc. Much like before, you can see that tiny silhouette on top of the roof. You already probably know what that is. You see a guard stationed in the booth, etc., etc. But this time, the chief is already waiting for you in the booth with the guard up front, like just right out the gate. And I'll assume Hunter pulls up first again, because that's what happened last time.
Yep. Hello.
Morning. You said you'd return. We're here waiting for you.
Yep. Thank you for your promptness.
Of course.
And presents the warrant.
Okay, as soon as you hand over the warrant, he starts looking over it. Can you give me a law or bureaucracy roll, anyone who wants to, in that front car? Hunter want to, or are you just gonna let it slide?
Hunter has. No, that is not what Hunter does.
Okay.
Hunter is just gonna let it.
Very fair. So he
Hunter's
sits
bureaucracy
there.
is 10.
Understood. He sits there like very slowly looking over the warrant, and he even pulls out some reading glasses, puts those on, and like makes a big show of like reading through it very carefully and reviewing it. And you get the feeling he's intentionally doing so to either A, be a pain in the ass, or B, intentionally slow you down. You're not sure which is worse, but he is
It's
definitely
probably both.
Yeah, probably both. But he eventually hands it back over to you and says, "Yep, it all checks out." He waves to the other guard who opens the gate. Well, we'll escort you up.
Thank you.
And they instruct you to park your cars in the small parking lot outside the gate. Just park your cars right over there. We'll walk you up to the facility from here.
Does he seem at all dodgy or like he's trying to mislead us?
You can give me
At
a
this
human
point?
roll.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's very obvious that he's intentionally being a pain in the ass and slowing things down on purpose. But you don't pick up any other sense of like, yeah, he's being super dodgy and is leading you into a trap or anything like that. No.
Okay.
So, rear vehicle, do you guys park after you see the first cars park and one of the guards just starts like waving towards the parking lot, like traffic directing?
I guess.
Right. You'll
Yep.
get out and you start walking up towards the building. As you're walking, the chief starts talking with you all. It's like, so what do you expect to find in here anyways? It's just doing good, clean research. Well, I mean,
I'm afraid that's classified.
Well, part of it is classified, of course.
If you had a warrant, perhaps we could tell you.
yeah, I'll get my people to talk to your people. We'll work that one out.
But what we can tell you is that we want to talk to Dr. Gent about her colleague, Dr. McCaslin.
Okay, I'll make sure you get to Dr. Gent as soon as possible.
All right, can I read him now? That sounded slimy.
yes, you can.
I'm also I would also like to and just go from the background.
Yeah, human rolls all around. Okay, to both of you, it sounds like he just took a mental note to go to like escort you to Dr. Gent last, basically. Is like kind of the vibe you get from what he said. So, I mean, if you are going to follow his escort inside here, it may be even further delayed, or you could split up or whatever. I will say, Hollow, you did roll a failure on the bureaucracy roll, but you do have a 40% in it. So you didn't catch something earlier, but now you do know that like you have a legal warrant. You're here on their grounds. You don't actually need the escort at this point. You have full freedom to just inspect wherever you need to. If you have like a reasonable suspicion, you can just look wherever you want to. At this point, you've got a warrant that says so.
I also have a 50 in bureaucracy, so I know this too.
So you know this too, yes. So even though this guy is like trying to take advantage of you and trying to, kind of trick you into a slower tour and stuff that's guided by him instead of like getting to real details and things, you're not actually legally obligated to do so. Now, whether they will follow the law and not just shoot you, you're not sure. But, that's a separate topic. Right now, you don't feel any, like, violent intent from them. But that is what it is.
Yeah.
And
with
knowing that,
Yeah.
I would ask, so do you guys have any medical facilities in here, or are you just strictly biotech?
Strictly biotech. I mean, we have emergency first aid and the like, but that's as far as it goes there. Why do you ask?
Well, I just know our new colleague, and I would point to Hestia, is very into medical, so I was wondering if you could go check something out, but if you don't have it.
Nope. Pretty much just a research place. I really don't know what they're looking into. It's all above my pay grade, over my head. You'll have to ask the researchers themselves.
And where do you store all of your snipers?
He kind of stops as he's walking and looks at you, and like his very fake smile just drops. We only have one. I can tell you already know where it is.
I would just nod my head.
He continues walking.
Hunter's wishing he was still in bed.
Fair.
Did we get a blueprint of this facility at all?
Fair question. I think that is a fair thing to do a flashback for if anyone wants to do that. Pay 1 willpower point and just have that be something you also requested.
I would be looking for a map, because sometimes these big companies have like a little map
I'll pay a willpower point for the flashback.
on the wall.
Okay.
I'm new. I have plenty of things to pay.
True. Okay, so I will just send this then. What could go wrong? So you guys see, you got a floor plan ahead of time, which you could probably find like a map inside as well. But this is the basic floor plan you find ahead of time. So you already know the layout a little bit, and you could plan some stuff based on that. But we'll say at this point you've been walked up to the main entrance, and you've like headed into the reception area and all of that. The officers have like stopped to introduce you to some other security officers on the way in and things like that. But we don't need to go over all those details. They're just
Gen's office is right there.
It is.
I think I'm going to walk over and knock on the door.
All right. You knock on the door a few times. You see the light on inside, but there is no response.
I will try the handle.
It is locked.
We need to get into Gen's office.
Oh, of course. Of course. The chief of security walks up and pulls out a comically large key ring with like a bunch of keys on it. Just starts flipping through them one by one. Like, nope, that's not the right one. Nope, not that one either. And just clearly being a pain about it. Wait it out, or do you want to expedite the process anyway? Or
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure obstructing the course of justice is a criminal offense.
I'm not obstructing anything. I'm cooperating. Look, I'm finding you my key. Here's the one.
You did withhold information about the medical chemistry lab. In fact, you actively lied to us about that.
Listen, I don't really know what goes on here. You're asking the wrong person about this. You can talk to the researchers if you want to talk to the researchers.
All right.
He clicks
Keys,
the
please.
key into the lock, and I'll follow you around. I can. How insistent are you about the keys?
Assertive, but not like
Hmm.
absolutely insistent.
Okay. Give me a persuade roll.
Can I assist in this?
You may.
My persuade is 40, so if somebody has a higher one,
Mine
it
is
wants to look
74.
intimidating.
So yeah, we'll just roll the 74 then.
I hate it.
Listen, I've got to hold on to these, all right? But I'll follow you around and I'll open whatever door you want open. I'll cooperate fully. Clicks a key into the door and opens it, and you can hear some papers like scatter and somebody like stumble in surprise as the door opens. And inside you see it's not the craziest largest office in the world, but it's a little larger than the other offices around here. There's a desk in the middle that's like a big L-shaped desk where part of the desk is up against a wall, but then the other part of the L kind of sticks out into the middle of the office. There's a computer on the desk with like 3 monitors. There's filing cabinets all over one wall. There's another table with some samples on it and like microscopes and stuff. And there's a researcher, a woman in a big lab coat, and she's got on some like safety glasses, not like full goggles, but like the just like catching spray and stuff, like little glasses. And she's got gloves on, and she was clearly flipping through some papers when you came in, and they kind of scattered when she got surprised by you opening the door. I thought I had
Dr.
that locked.
Gent?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
And you are, excuse me? She's like looking back and forth between you and the security chief.
My name's Natalie Mathers. I'm part of an FBI task force that's been investigating a recent bioterrorism incident that seems to be a virus coming from Benthic.
Oh no, we would never do anything like that, of course. We don't have anything that could be used as a weapon. We're just studying extremophiles.
When was the last
What
time
now?
you spoke to Dr. McCaslin?
Dr. McCaslin he hasn't been very focused lately. I'm frustrated with that whole situation. I haven't spoken with him in a while. He hasn't been into work for a while.
Side note, McCaslin was the one who died in the house fire, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody in the group said they had a Q-ment of like 70 something, right?
I have a 65.
I have 70. What
You
is
have
it?
like 70 something. Yeah.
73.
But you also are sleepy.
Yeah, so it's
Okay, so
Little
65 might be the highest in the group then. So Hallow, you pick up a little bit here that she is being truthful about being frustrated with McCaslin, but there's definitely like more there, if that makes sense.
Well,
Not telling the whole truth.
I'm sorry
Has
to be
something else
bad
happened with Dr.
news.
McCaslin? Oh, sorry, Joanna.
I was gonna just spring the death on her and see how she responds.
Oh, I think Hallow would try to be a little bit more cautious about that at first, but if you want to go
Politely,
for that
with
round,
like good bedside manner and all that.
okay, go for it.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news then. He died in a house fire recently.
No, that's not right. That's not what was supposed to happen. She says that like the words came out of her mouth, and she kind of like looks around, surprised that those words came out of her mouth, and starts to look a little bit more nervous.
Supposed to happen?
Dr. Gent, how much has that been happening to you lately?
Well,
Did you go into the pit?
Yes, that's where much of our research has been happening.
Who was wearing the suit that got ripped?
Excuse me, have you already investigated our have you gone through our things? That was a locked facility. How did you get access?
FBI, classified.
Oh, she crosses her arms.
Hmm.
Okay.
We couldn't get in yesterday. Your guards, your very dedicated security team, refused us access, so we went and investigated what we could.
She looks at the chief of security, says, Trevor, could you just go take a coffee break a little bit and be back later? And he just nods and leaves the room and closes the door behind him.
Quick scan. What's the status of her office? Is it missing metal?
Missing metal. Ooh. Give me a search roll. Ooh, okay.
If I'm also like looking to assess her biological, like her condition as well.
Yes, that's very fair. I think in the immediate moment you entered the door and like started conversing with her and stuff, and her sort of immediately like flustered state and things like that, it was harder to tell. But now that you've had a second to converse with her and she's calmed down a little bit, she is very pale. Her skin is like almost gray, like in a weird way, but it's just like a touch gray, right? Like if you weren't looking for it, you might not notice it. But she does look very sick, very thin. Yes.
Can we retroactively say we wore hazmat suits to come here? It would have been like.
Oh, I was just assuming.
Obvious.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted.
Yes,
We're
permanently in those. We're ensconced.
We forgot to say it. So.
I just assumed you slept in those because that's what this group does at this point.
No, Hallow definitely did. With how long he's been wearing that, with all of the terrible shit
sleep?
that's been happening.
Yeah.
Like he was wearing that when.
Yeah. I don't think Hestia would have taken it off either.
Okay.
It'd be like, okay,
So, well, before you get to that, more description of things in the room.
Yeah.
So yes, her physical state does appear very sick. She appears very pale and thin. But also, you notice that like on the filing cabinet, it looks like she tried to be sneaky about it. Like the actual handles to the drawers are normal, but like there are little switches you can push on the doors to like pop them open, basically like a release that would keep them closed until you pull the switch. Those have been torn out, and there's just like a hole where those switches were before. You can see that like on the desk there appears to be a couple screw holes where potentially there were screws previously. Things of that nature. There's like a few instruments around the room that are lying open with their battery compartment just lying open. But yeah, so clearly many metal and toxic things around the room.
Dr. Gent, why don't you come with me to the medical examination room?
Listen, I sent away the security chief for a reason. Let's just talk here.
Okay.
Do you know what's happening to you?
Oh, yes. And clearly you are not all normal FBI agents.
No, we were a special task force created specifically to address this issue.
Yes, of course, but you all know things, don't you? Things like I know. Things about the real truth.
I would take a step back and look at them.
Hey, someone lock the door. Make sure it's locked.
Hunter scurries to lock the door.
You're talking about the star people. You're already too far gone.
Yes, finally someone else to talk to. Okay, listen, McCaslin was an idiot. I tried talking with him about all this stuff. He was too enthusiastic about this. He wasn't focused. Listen, we can do some real good with this. We can bring a true gift to humanity. Yes, what?
I was gonna say, is there anything blunt in the room that I can hit her on the head with?
Oh, plenty. I mean, like, how heavy are you thinking?
Oh, medium heavy.
I
Like,
would just tranquilize her.
are you just gonna try and get her while she's monologuing?
Yeah, as she's talking, I'll just like appear interested, step closer, like appear engaged, and just like stick her in the bicep.
Okay.
If you need me to make a pharmacy or biology roll or something like that, let me
I
know.
think absolutely, and at a minus 20% because she is not in a cooperative state right now. Even if she's distracted, it's not like you have a a willing patient that is just like sitting stationary for you to make like a clean stab.
Medicine, pharmacy, or biology? They're all the same.
I think medicine. Pharmacy would be to like if you were preparing it or picking out the right medicine or whatever. But okay. So I actually think in this case, you do get the needle out and you approach her and she's just kind of moving around. And she's trying to talk with all you and she's very enthusiastic about it. And you stick her with the needle, you drop the plunger, and she just keeps talking. It just doesn't seem to do anything. He's like, oh, thank you. I was feeling a little bit of a craving for that, actually. That's greatly appreciated. They're very thoughtful about it. You all know more about this than I even thought. Have you all had the same? And she looks directly at High Tide and Hunter. You've had it, haven't you? You especially. She points a finger directly at High Tide. She says, I can see it in you right now. Roll me a sanity check, High Tide.
I just rolled a sanity check and then deleted it.
Okay.
I didn't mean to roll it, so I deleted
That's
it.
okay.
But
1d4 sanity for High Tide.
Oh, that's weak numbers. Come on.
Weak numbers, yeah. I
can lose another 10.
You. Wow. I didn't see when you first walked into the room, but she's just like eyeing you up and down constantly, like she's examining a specimen. She actually starts to walk a little closer to you, like trying to get a closer look at you.
You're holding this together a lot better than everyone else we've run into about this. Are you cured of this, or are you constant? No, you're clearly infected.
I am blessed, is what I am. This is a gift. Yes.
Do you mind telling me a little bit more about how you acquired this blessing?
It was not without pain. I don't think any great blessing can come truly freely. And she actually, I think, just like pulls the lab coat up around one of her legs, just suddenly, like without shame, and you can see there's like a big bandage around one of her thighs. She says, "You saw one of the suits already, yes? That was my suit. I was blessed by their medicine, given a great gift. I want to bring this gift to everyone. I want all of humanity in on this."
Did this medicine come from an ambassador?
Yes, an ambassador. It was one of them, but not one of them. One of the star people trapped underground, trapped in the water. Feeding, growing, healing. People like you.
Still there? Or have they healed enough to get out?
They are still there. People like you tried to kill it. We kept it alive. We've learned to make it thrive. We've learned how to let it give us gifts. Vast and wonderful gifts. She kind of looks up at the ceiling with wonder on her face. Listen to me. This is not just immortality. This is not just some higher form. This is not just an evolution of humanity. This is a connection. This is a physical connection, a spiritual connection, a connection on every level to the immortal intelligences, the star people and their gods, their old gods.
You mentioned what was supposed to happen with Dr. McCaslin?
I assume he was trying to get the book that he jumped into a burning building for like a maniac.
Yes, the book. That was his goal.
Yes. Your ritual no longer exists in this world.
That was McCaslin's project, not mine. He was selfish. He lacked focus. He lacked discipline. He simply wanted to ascend himself. I want to forge a connection for everyone. McCaslin simply wanted to travel to the stars, be amongst the star people, of course. Short-sighted. Selfish.
How are you going to get this connection? The world is a big place.
I may be hopeful, of course, but we're still studying. I'm still studying. We'll find a way. I will find a way to contact them, and we will work this out together, of course. This is such a limitless potential. We need to take advantage of it.
Do you have is there anyone here who helps you on your projects? Like anyone else enlightened here? Or are you having to work in secret?
So far, there are only 2 people in this building that are blessed, and one who was formerly blessed. But none amongst my coworkers.
Oh, so the people in this building who are blessed are all in this room?
They are indeed. This is an auspicious gathering.
You said 2 people are blessed and one was formerly blessed.
Yes.
Who aside from you is still blessed?
Well, I'll start with this one, and she points at Hunter. Forcibly starved their blessing. How dare you?
It wasn't fun, I'll tell you that.
Hope not.
You hope not. You're gonna have to go through it too. Enjoy having, anything to eat while you can.
Thanks to their blessings, I have not felt the need to eat, sleep, or any of that anymore. I have ascended beyond such base mortal needs. But this one, I have never seen the like of before, and she points to High Tide. This one is not just blessed, secretly blessed.
What, are you talking about the mold? That's not a blessing, that's a curse.
Mold. Do not use such basic language to describe it. It is the blessing. Some common mold.
Have you done any tests on your own blood? Do you know what the physiological changes on your body are?
I've done some tests, yes. My body appears to be repairing itself. I no longer shed skin or hair. None of my cells ever die, it appears. I don't have any kind of waste byproducts of any kind. My body is now perfectly efficient. I no longer need to eat except for the occasional bit of metal to keep the gift running. I no longer need to sleep. My mind is clearer and more expansive than it's ever been. What more do you want?
Is the gift alive? I feel like that was what you were going to say.
The gift is as alive as I am.
Okay. Do your cells still respond to stimuli?
I mean, to an extent, I suppose. Do you mean something deeper than that?
Well, more if you've taken a biopsy, has it grown? Does it adapt to its environment the way unblessed cells do?
I am ascending to a higher form. I have been blessed. That is what's happening to me.
You talked very disdainfully about Dr. McCaslin's own ascension. What makes this one so much better? Because this one is physical and he wanted to just go there?
Oh, he had ascended physically as well. He merely wanted to travel to be with them. A lost puppy returning home. No more ambition than that.
Funny, he didn't look like a crab to me. You seen their creatures? The way you're talking, you might refer to them as messengers or...
I have seen the one we are caring for, that we are nursing. The one who gave us these gifts, the ambassador.
That's the word.
Are they in the water? Where are they?
Yes, they thrive in that environment. A true extremophile.
Extreme
I got
enough to
mine.
survive the rigors of space, huh?
I got mine in a lab, not in the water.
I mean, did we get ours in a lab? Or did we get it somewhere else?
Well,
In
we got it
between.
in a blank space that we don't know about, but it seems like it would be a lab. Who knows what the uncle does to us?
Tell me, Dr. Gent, what do you know of the branches?
Yes, you had asked about that before. What was supposed to happen? Well,
We've seen a number of different ones. We've been through many.
her eyes kind of widen a little bit, and she looks back and forth at all of you.
Have you heard the thunder of hearts and drums and screams in the deep black in between?
You have? I have not been blessed in this way. She's looking at all of you with wide eyes and then sees Hestia and says, "You have not, I can tell, but the rest of you, I see it now. I see those wavelengths. I can tell. You've seen it. You've heard it. No, I have heard only whispers. The gift has only given me so much knowledge. How is it," she's starting to grow a little angry, "how is it that all of you who are barely even blessed," and she gestures at High Tide, "have been gifted more knowledge than I have? I have been researching for them. I have been trying to spread their will, their gifts to everyone."
So you're vomiting on people?
On the side of a road?
Sounds like
During
they
a
don't
traffic
trust you very
stop?
much.
I would not spread this gift in a crude, rampant, unthoughtful way. I'm
Well, that's
trying
what
to
happened.
synthesize a way to produce this and spread it to humanity in a way that they will accept themselves. And I'm talking global scale here. I'm not talking an outbreak. I'm talking acceptance of a gift. Like I said, McCaslin didn't know what he was doing.
So, if we leave you be, you're just going to continue to try and spread this to the entire world somehow, after somehow contacting the same people, sky people, that Dr. McCaslin, you say, was an idiot for trying to contact. Do you have a way to reach through the branches? Are you going to reach through and find the ritual that way?
No, I only have a vague sense of them. And branches, I'll admit, you all may have a stronger feeling about this than I, but the shape of them is different. They don't spread from a single point. They converge to one. They are not dependent on each other. They are parallel. They are... It looks like she has like a light bulb light up in her head. She has a sudden thought. A spiral.
Do I have Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, she was just saying they don't seem like branches to her. They seem like a spiral. What were you saying?
Do I have recollections of what happens?
Recollections
like
of...
before I became catatonic?
When you became catatonic in this recent, like in the shack? Was that what you were referencing? No,
like,
for that whole
when
period.
I woke, do I remember the vision I saw? Or does the catatonia stop that vision from staying in my head?
I think you remember that, but you don't remember the rest of the day after that. Based on the temporary insanity thing.
But yes, you talk about all of these branches combinings, but you can watch yourself die in them and live through it and then wake up just like nothing happened.
Yes, exactly. They are an iteration.
Insanity. They're frustrating.
Are
You
they
try to
insanity, or are they more sane than assuming the universe is singular? Is it insanity
You only
to
get
accept...
one chance. You're supposed to only get one chance. That's part of what this is.
Is
Getting
it?
redos every time. Life is dangerous. And the things that we, in particular, this task force, are supposed to look at, what we respond to, are the most dangerous of all. We're supposed to be ready to give our lives to put down the threats, and we have multiple times. But somehow we're broken. We're on the branches, the spiral, I suppose. And I want off.
You are not broken. You are blessed. You have been gifted higher knowledge than I even have achieved. You should use this knowledge. We should work together. We can use this as a gift for all of humanity.
All of humanity would go mad.
It
I
is
also
not...
don't know what you're talking about using it for humanity. They want to use humanity. They don't want to help us with anything. They don't care about us.
It is not
They
madness to
shoot us and
accept
stab us.
the reality of our world. They thought it was mad to claim that the Earth was round and that we orbited around another structure, the sun. It's scientific advancement sometimes seems like madness until we accept it as truth.
I think we might be getting a little bit off track here.
Heads rotate.
But maybe if you were blessed.
I don't
You
think
say
this
psych
is
right
quite
now.
I don't think this is quite the place for such a discussion, do you? I don't know how soundproof these walls are.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that everyone in this entire facility is fully infected.
That's how they spread it, with the vomit. Like animals.
Listen,
Well, that
I
and
am,
physical touch. Hunter
I
didn't
am,
even.
I am not so crude as Dr. McCaslin was. I would not spread this without someone's consent. I would not use vomit and other bodily fluids to spread this. No, I have self-control, thank you.
Can I roll a human to see if she's lying?
Go for it.
Minus 20%, that's a failure anyways.
Yep.
Can I roll medicine to see if she from what I understand, this is so contagious we need hazmat suits.
Mhm.
Would I need to roll medicine to understand that she's either lying or mistaken?
You can roll medicine, sure.
Would I need to roll or
How's your medicine?
50?
I don't think you need to roll the 50. I think you would know.
Because if it's so contagious that we're wearing hazmat suits and brief points of contact would do it.
You think she's either lying or mistaken, but she seems adamant about it. You could roll human to see if you think she's lying about it, but you think, yeah, based on the medical facts, at least.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? That's
The
a
way
good point.
the way the rules work, only one person rolls for the group, and that's the person with the highest in that skill, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we've already done a human roll on that.
But so here's.
Yeah, true.
But something I don't know that if you've taken into account, Doctor, is exactly how virulent and infectious this blessing is. When we first arrived in town, we had a doctor with us. He received the blessing, as I'm sure you're aware, as these things seem to be hive-minded to a degree. He knew other people seem to know things they shouldn't. But oh dang it. Dan forgot where he was going with that one halfway through.
Well, I mean,
There was something about the doctor.
Have
Oh, there we
you
go. The doctor, when he inspected Deputy Jacob's body, he wore the exact same protective gear you are now, and he was still infected. Anyone you've touched while wearing that has a very real chance of having also been blessed, as you would call it.
Trust me, I understand how easily this can pass if it's not, taken carefully, but there's more to it than just. How do I put this? There's a certain will to it, and that will is my own.
and does that will include a sniper rifle to protect it? Normal biotech companies would not do that.
That is not part of the will of my gift, no. That is the will of March Industries.
Who is funding this venture then?
Yes.
I thought this was Benthic Corporation.
Well, I've said more than I should already.
No, you should
Hmm.
keep talking.
If it eases your conscience, we do have a warrant, so you do have to answer us.
I believe I've said too much already.
Oh
Is
no,
they
it's
gonna
okay.
get
Yeah,
you or something?
they get like this when they don't want to talk. The infection seems to just lock their brain down.
I'm wondering if she's already called someone to come after us.
No, I don't know that. He's
I
just
am
sizing her up.
just a researcher, to be clear. One who wants to aid humanity with the greatest scientific discovery in centuries. Perhaps millennia. I am not some leader or some organizer of some organization.
Yes, but you answer to someone that probably has some sort of specifications for you to alert or warn of.
Well, you know, would you be willing to having us come back another time? If we can digest this information, have another conversation tomorrow, perhaps. In the same open, peaceful conversation this one has been. And I apologize for the abrupt and aggressiveness of this one.
Which one are you referring to?
This conversation in general.
Ah,
Of course, I will always be here.
Thank you. Do the rest of you have any more questions?
Nope.
Nope, I know she's crazy.
do you have a blood sample that I could study? And would you be willing to give one?
Would you like to work with me directly?
I want to better understand the gift, and I want to have the knowledge be my own. So I would like to study it on my own if you don't mind. It seems like you value the pursuit of knowledge as highly as I do.
I do value the pursuit of knowledge, and I'd prefer to work with you directly if we're going to work on this.
I'd like to, but I'd also, you know how science is. Everything must be verified. All experiments must be repeatable. I'd
Of
like to
course.
do a repetition of my own.
There will be a
If you
time for
don't
that.
mind.
That time has not arrived yet, unless you'd like to work with me.
I will need to take some time to think about that.
Of course.
Well, we appreciate your time. And we look forward to future conversation.
Before you leave, and before we end tonight's session, who has the highest human in the group, including penalties? So, like, High Tides is probably 53 right now.
65.
That's probably highest, so go ahead and roll it. Okay. So she did say yes to a future conversation. But like the way she said yes and like she kind of looked off to the side while saying it and got a little bit shifty, you get the feeling she doesn't have the intention to actually honor that. but do you guys still
Yeah.
finish up for the day here?
Well, if he realizes that, I don't know if I want to leave then. Ugh.
Do you happen to
Uh,
have the key to McCaslin's office?
I don't, but the security certainly does. You can find the chief. He should be getting a cup of coffee.
Ah, so he has poor sleep too sometimes.
Is the security guard blessed?
No.
Does
So,
it have
I
the
have a quick.
physical part without the will component?
I am the only one blessed here.
Hey,
What were you saying?
well, no, so I don't know. So, I just have indecision. I wanted. Part of me wants to try and wipe her mind, make her forget all of it, but she still has the body, and that might be problematic on its own. But
I mean,
oh wait, maybe High Tide can cure her.
somebody
So
was
I
trying.
don't think I have enough willpower to do that today.
Somebody was talking about knocking her out.
Oh yeah, I was gonna hit her on the head with something heavy.
yeah, I'm in support of that. If we want to not, yeah, I'll just signal High Tide to
Yeah, I think
go
at this
for it.
point, Hestia's kind of like side-eyeing you guys, like the
Yeah.
tranquilizer clearly didn't work.
Yeah. And we're also adapted to violence.
So at this point, I'm probably gonna go for something real heavy to just like pick up over her head and drop it.
Okay, like computer monitor heavy, like that kind of size, or like how? When you say real heavy, I don't know the scale here.
Oh yeah, like computer monitor.
Okay, so you just grab one of those off the desk and start swinging it at her. Roll me unarmed combat then. You technically are armed combat, but this isn't like a traditional weapon, so I think unarmed makes a little bit more sense.
With the -20, that's a fail by 1. No.
No.
So you run to the table and you pick up the monitor, but you're just a little bit sluggish because you just didn't get any sleep and stuff. And she just very surprisingly quickly like slides backwards out of the way. Like she moves with her feet, but like the way her body moves is unnatural as she gets out of the way. Like she has like more strength and speed than a human body should have. Now she bends backwards out of the way and then snaps back up into place. He looks at you all and says, "So that's how it's gonna be, huh?" And that's what we'll pick up
That's
from
where,
next time.
yeah, Hollow extending his hand to try and lunge to grab her face.
That's what we'll pick up from next time. Woo!
Yay! Oh boy, we found
Yay.
we found the nest, didn't we?